Finally got this thing boarded up. At least somewhat, so they can't get in. At least it's easy. It's gonna take a lot to get in now. Oh, hey guys. I just boarded up the place, so I think we are ready to talk. We have some quiet time. They can't obviously hear me in here. They might know I'm in here, but they can't get in here, so we're good. They can't really hear me now. Obviously, they might know I'm in here because of the shouting thing from the last video, but I think we're good. We can talk about Quiet Place Part 2 today, the sequel to A Quiet Place, what was an amazing film. I saw it for the first time before I went and saw Part 2. I just saw it yesterday, so this is very frequent, a video I'm doing very frequent to when I'm seeing the movie, and I saw Part 1 like a night or two ago, and it was great as well. Yeah, so let's jump into it. A Quiet Place Part 2. Also going to mention there might be spoilers for the first movie because I can't really talk about the second movie, so maybe spoiling the first movie, so keep that in mind. So if you haven't seen that review, go check it out. But in the this movie, first of all, I'm going to give it a general thoughts. It is great. I enjoyed it. It is as good as the first one. It's one of those sequels. And a lot of people say horror movie sequels are not as good as the first one. I would say a lot of times I would agree somewhat. I'm not going to say completely, because one of my favorite movies of all time, Evil Dead 2. A sequel that I think surpasses maybe even the original, and the most iconic. The original Evil Dead is great, but the sequel I definitely think surpasses it. So that's another example of horror movies that are great. Also, Halloween 2 is not that bad. Those are some examples, I'm just saying. I think they're decent. Or as good as the first one. They're not bad. They're not bad sequels, so not every sequel is bad. But I'm not saying they're not shitty sequels, because there are. But let's go into this one, because this is actually probably on the cream of the crop of horror sequels, and just sequels in general, is one of the best. This, I think, could go down as one of, the best sequels of all time. Do you think this to be on the list? For horror, I would say definitely. All time, as I said, I'm not seeing any movies, I couldn't tell you that, but definitely for horror, it's definitely one of the best horror sequels, I think, out of the ones I've seen. It's great. So let's get into Quiet Place Part 2. So we continue off in the last one, and I did not mention this in the last one. So the beginning of the last one, obviously, I already mentioned this, so there will be spoilers. For that, they have the little boy who dies, and then we have, later in the film, the father dies, as I mentioned on the last review. Obviously, I wanted to see that as a surprise, but he dies. I will say it here because he's not in this movie, so I kind of have to explain it. He does die. So he dies to protect the two kids, and they do find out, the little girl finds out something with her earring thing her dad made. The monsters don't like the sound they don't like, so they're able to stop him and kill him now. I'm like, yes, that's cool. Maybe you can eventually save the world. So the second one starts off with them, when they left off, it was them in the basement. They killed one, and then a bunch of them start coming, and then they figure out a way to get out. I thought at the end of the first one, it started a bunch coming, and then they come out, and they couldn't find them. Maybe there was something that was messing with them. Because there's a bunch coming at the end of the last one, but then maybe this one didn't stop that there. Also, the beginning starts with them day one, so we get to see day one of before everything happens. It's the day where it all happens. The day starts off normal, the dad gets some stuff at the pharmacy store, and then he goes to the baseball game where his son is at. He's playing, and then obviously rocks thing fall from the sky. And then they go to the cars, and then monsters just start showing up, and they hear on the news beforehand he's in the pharmacy about explosion or something, so shit's going crazy. All kinds of stuff, and it's great. And I don't think at that point they know if sound is the problem. The dad might, because he does say to people to be quiet, but I think he's just saying to be quiet. But yeah. But the family gets out, obviously, of the first one. Obviously, because they make it to the first movie, so the whole family does. And then, like I said, the son died, the one kid died, the youngest one. So the baby wasn't born yet. By the time the second one starts, the end of the second one, the first one, the baby is born, but the baby's not born yet, so the youngest kid dies. Was really sad, and then the father dies, sacrificing himself for the kids, and then this one continues on the journey of them, because they know about the earpiece, they know how to stop them, and they're going to try to hey, we need to go to this place, we need to go try to find some help, or somebody, because the little girl wants to help, and I think that's how they beat them, I can save the world, I can help people. What is the thing, I think, since you can do that, I think, why wouldn't you try to help people, or try to stop these things, because, you know how to, nobody else does, you know how to do it, and it's great. So they go, obviously wanting to have the baby with them. Now with the baby, they have an interesting thing. She's in a box. So you're probably thinking if she's in a box, how could she be? They have an air tank, and then it has a little thing where it has the mask over the baby's face so they can breathe. And then they go and they meet this guy. They actually make some noise. They start running, and then obviously one kid, their boy, who they actually steps in the bear crab, and then this is one of the parts where I'm is one of the best parts of the movie, because he steps, I'm not saying because I'm excited he stepped in the bear trap. No, but just when he steps in the bear trap and he's on the ground, and his cry of pain was so, like, the acting is incredible. That's one of the scenes I'm like, oh my god, I almost feel it. Like, that's how good acting you're doing. I'm like, I feel like you actually got, I wouldn't be surprised. I think somebody else mentioned this, somebody else, I saw the review of it, they mentioned, like, I wouldn't be surprised you actually got trapped, trapped in a bear trap because it's that real. Like, it looked like you actually got trapped in a bear trap. He was so good. I'm like, what the fuck, jeez, that's so, like, fuck. That's the acting in this. It's always been one of the things. Fantastic. Also, it has more talking than the first movie, but it is still, like, they still are very quiet. They're still very quiet, but there is a little more talking in this one than in the first movie. It's great. But yeah, they eventually find this guy. Obviously, there's this guy who's watching on when they try to break in, because obviously it's this factory place. The guy breaks in, and then he goes in, and then he meets them, and then he finds out, oh, this is the person they used to know, who we saw, I think, in the beginning of the intro. Like, oh, this person used to know, find out what happened to his family and stuff, and all the shit that happened with him. He's still alive, and he eventually, he's like, you can stay here for the night, we have a secret thing to keep you thing from coming, and they stop the thing, and it's like, cool. And he does see the one girl use, I think, the thing to stop the monster, and they kill one. It's great. So they're killing them. So anyone they kill is like one more off the table. That's just think about it. If you keep killing them, it's like that's another one off the table. That's great. And then we get to a point where they go into the bunker. And then the kid's like, hey, the one girl's like, hey. We find out there's a channel on the radio that's playing music. It's like, I know where the station is. It's right here. I need to go because I can go and help and maybe play my thing that's giving them that thing across the radio, and then we can always just turn it on and, boom, get them, and then start attacking them and going on the forefront of just attacking them and killing them, and eventually maybe getting everything, not maybe back to complete normal, but at least getting rid of them, kill them, I can help save the world. So that's her thing, and she eventually goes off on her own to do it. It eventually gets to a point where a monster comes, and she gets to a point where she's on it by herself, and then the mom finds out she left, so he tells the other guy to go with him, who's a friend, and she goes, finds him, and eventually she convinces them, kind of whatever, to, like, hey, I'm going to save the world, I can stop him, and da-da-da. Eventually convinces him to be like, yo, come help me, and he does. But, like, that's a great turn for that character. I like how that character is kind of like what the guy, I'm like, okay, you're one of the characters, like, I don't know, it's who's going to die in this one, who's going to die in this one, who's going to die in this movie. Obviously, in the beginning, when the whole apocalypse, where it shows day one where it happens, obviously people die then, but, like, other than that, though, it's going to show who's going to die in this one. Currently, we had 2 major deaths. Nothing you need a death like that, a really important character to do anything, but this one's cool. Then they eventually get to a point. It's like, I'll take you there. It's like, there's people out here who are bad, who are not, everybody's good. And they find, obviously, he goes to the docks, he goes to this place, it's on, like, an island. They eventually find out, like, oh, I got some guys pop up, and it's the guys who we talking about, like, the guys who are bad. And they don't make it, they threw a bunch of stuff on him that's noise, so, like, when he moves, make a bunch of noise, but eventually gets to the point where he tells her to dive in the water, and he falls down the other guys, and then, like, obviously the creatures come and attack him. He makes it able to go, and they go to the island, where they meet a bunch of people there, because obviously you find out these creatures can't swim, when I'm like, that's kind of cool to know, but, so there's places, like, they can talk to, whatever, and it's, like, they're fine, because unless they get on the boat, there's no way they can get here, really, just from, like, unless they can fly planes or fly boats, so they can't swim, so it's, like, being on an island actually is not a bad thing. But when they come over here, the funny thing is, when they come over here, eventually the dad finds out, not the dad, the friend who's with the girl, the main character, he finds a boat, and it's the boat, from the dock when they find those guys, and the creature, you remember, was attacking the boat and was like scratching at it and was fell in the water inside the ground. Nope, the boat is now ashore, and he's like, uh-oh, the monster's here, like the thing is here, the creature is here. And he runs immediately, like saying, everybody inside, he says everybody inside, and then they try to do the stuff. They go inside, you see people start getting attacked, and it's 100%. A lot of people are going to be like, the one thing I want to say is his fault that they're there. I would say it's the guys who attack them fault, because without them, they wouldn't have been them, so I'm going to say it's their fault. It's a little their fault, so technically it's people care. But they do, if they say it's one of the things like, yeah, it's kind of difficult to because one for them, they wouldn't attack that place, and it's like, I'm surprised they didn't have any hate to them, like, oh, because of you guys, this thing's here and destroyed everything. It's like, fine, but they do eventually take 2 of the kids, him and this black guy who I forget his name. He's like, I guess one of the other characters you see a lot in the trailer, him, and then they take the kids and they put them in these 2 little kids, and they put them in a thing. and obviously in a closet, and thing to save him. I love the guy who's the friend of this, like, becomes a character. I'm like, I like this guy. He's the character, I'm like, he's out for himself. It's kind of like, you gotta leave, I gotta do this, but then he becomes like this person. I'm like, I like this guy. I really like him. And then eventually, like I said, put 2 kids in the closet. So we don't see if they live or die. If they're quiet, I don't think there's any reason for the monster to attack them, but you never know. And who knows who else made out of that, but then he puts they go to the radio station and then have to, do this thing. And then while they're gone, the mom has to go find oxygen because the baby is running on oxygen, so they have to get oxygen for the baby. And then the son goes out and he eventually tracks a monster and they have to fight a monster and stuff and all this stuff. It's great. It's great. Other than that, though, I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I think that'll be spoiling it. So it's great. It does set it up at the end, like the first one where it ends. And it's not a bad ending, but it does do like the first one with like an end in a way where I'm like, okay, this could be the end, or you could do more. Because it's the same ending as the first one where it's like, you could end it, or if you want to, you could do another one. I'm not saying like, oh, you should do it to where they keep doing it until they get back, but still, it's like, this doesn't mean they survive, doesn't mean the whole world is saved. Just because you put that earpiece on, that doesn't mean the world's going to go back to normal like that. It still has a lot of stuff, so you still got a lot of stuff to do, so it's not like it's that easy. So it's like, you could still do another, I think, movies about showing them fighting guys and trying to save people and doing all this stuff and da-da-da. It's like, it's cool. I like it. It's really good. I think it's a great sequel. I'm going to give it, I think it's the same as the first one. It's really good. I'm going to give it a 10. Because it's like, I love this series now. I'm fine if they stop it at 2. If they do more, cool. If they don't, fine. Either way, I'm fine with it. It's a great series. I would check it out. Go check it out if you've not seen Quiet Place Part 2. Now, I got to be ready because they could come in any minute now. Because I feel like I have Barricade, but I need to figure out a way to stop these things. How do I stop them? What can I do? What can I do to stop these guys? I gotta think about this. Because they want me to get a car. They want to send me a car. I'm not getting a car. I have a car. I don't need a car. So I need to figure out a way to stop these guys. And how do I do that? Wait a minute. They're going to sell me a car. If I get a new car, if I immediately buy a new car, they won't come after me because I have a new car. They're only coming after me because I had my car for a while. So, they're trying to get me to get a new one because I've had my car for a while and they want me to change. But if I get a new car, then I have nothing to do. I know just what to do. Be right back. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3. You finally ready? A new car? You can't sell me a new car when I just bought a new car. No, you can only buy one. I built the young one. No. Okay. I think we got him. He seems like he's down for the count. Okay, I think we're good. I think we got him. Okay, I can talk now. I think we're good for a while. And for a couple years, don't know when it shows up. You guys, hope you guys have an epic day. See you in the next video, guys. Bye. I gotta get Janet to clean this up. Fuck.